Welcome to the CEB Show, now on F4A Radio on the Radio King app. You can just Google F4A Radio, it should be one of the top searches. And of course, as always, on Back to Brag's YouTube channel and all the other social media. So today is 9/11, and I would think you all know what that day is. And so I wanted to obviously talk about that. So I don't want to say I'm obsessed with 9/11, but I don't want to say it interests me, because that kind of sounds weird too. I don't want to say because I lived through it, but I was alive during it. Like I remember waking up, I think around 9:01 or something like that, pretty much. So I think I was watching NBC the night before, and a habit of mine was just sleeping on the couch watching TV, just because at the time I could do that. So I was probably watching like Conan O'Brien, or I don't know if Carson Daly was around then, or maybe it was Greg Kinnear's show. I can't remember what the show after Conan was. And I was, infomercials were actually entertaining back then for me. So anyway, I fell asleep with the TV on, and I remember waking up right before the second plane hit the second tower, because I remember kind of being half out of it, coming to, and then it was like, this is something out of a movie. Oh my god. And then that was my thought. I was like, am I watching a movie? What is going on? And like, it took a little bit for my mind to contemplate what is going on as I'm waking up. And it was just crazy. I had a friend who's working at a military base, not as military, just had a job at the base. They had a lockdown. They locked him in because I gave him a call, see what was going on with him. Started calling some people. I thought, what are you doing? Do you see this? What's going? I mean, So eventually so I was living alone at the time in Maryland, kind of in between where the plane that was supposedly headed to D.C., towards D.C., that ended up crashing in Pennsylvania. When we heard about that plane, it was like, oh, we don't know where his plane is. We think it's heading to D.C. or something like that. I don't want to misremember. But, there was a plane still up in the air and people weren't sure where it was going. But they had an idea where it was and where it's headed. And that was, around Pennsylvania heading to D.C. So, and, where I was in Frederick, Maryland was kind of in between those two spots. And we weren't sure where it was heading. Was it going to D.C.? Was it gonna hit Fort Detrick in Frederick? Because there's a lot of talk of what is in Fort Detrick biologically, and like would a plane crashing into the right building in Fort Detrick release some kind of virus? That was a long shot, but so is crashing two buildings into the Pentagon. Into the World Trade Center, and then one into the Pentagon. So my mom was on her way to her, she got out of work. She was heading from the Frederick area to where she lived, and decided best that I go up there too, because it's farther away from DC. It's not in Frederick, which like I said, outside slim possibility of where the plane was targeting. If the passengers didn't take back the plane and the terrorists crashed the plane in Pennsylvania, which driving during this, like looking up while I'm driving, trying to see if there's any planes or whatnot. Yeah, it was such a crazy day. So anyway, that's pretty much my story of 9/11. Obviously I didn't live through it, but I lived during it, I guess would be. But I mean, maybe that's why I'm kind of so interested in it, because it's like one of those moments in history. It's like probably the biggest moment in history of my life. So anyway, but I limit myself to really only looking into it and watching stuff about it and researching about it on 9/11, maybe the day before and the day after. So it's like 3 days out of 365, 366, depending on the year. But yeah, that's pretty much my story on 9/11. Curious to hear yours. You can I don't know, what do you call it now on Twitter? X us on Back to Brag. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. You find it kind of curious if you find it weird to be so interested in a tragedy. I know some people are interested in true crimes, which some people could say is kind of messed up. Some people are interested in serial killers. To also be considered messed up. Do you guys consider that messed up? Let me know. We've reached our time limit. Like, subscribe, turn notifications, follow, and anything else you can think of. Peace.